Sige, sige. Asa mas Roslyn o naara Roslyn James Lee. Good morning, class.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Miss.
Okay, I am Rosemary Rudas, your English teacher. So as we begin our discussion this morning, please stand up for our prayer. God, in the will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us sin, forgive those who us from evil. Amen. Okay. Before you take your seat, kindly pick up the pieces of paper under your chair. So, how are you feeling right now, class?
Doing fine, Miss.
Okay, very well. I'm glad to hear that. Now, Miss Secretary, do we have absent for today?
No, Miss.
Okay, we don't have absent. So very good. For given that we don't have absent for today, give yourself a 3 claps. Ready? Before we begin our discussion, I just want you to be reminded with our classroom rules. So we have 4 fundamental classroom rules, right?
Yes, Miss.
Next slide, please. That is, next slide. Okay, that is number 1. Number 1 is listen when someone is talking. So because it is very important to listen so that you would be able to understand the person. Kaya magkasinabtanay ta. So number 2 is raise your hand before speaking. So whenever you want to ask something to or you want to excuse, just don't forget to raise your hand so that I am informed that you are able to say something. Number 3 is participate in the class or activities because later on I will give you activities. Then lastly is respect each other because is very important to us. So before we proceed again, who among you remembered our topic yesterday? Okay, very good. It is all about verb. So before we move forward, I just want you to answer this activity. So basically, you are going to answer based on the definitions given. So don't worry, it's easy, of course. Next slide, please. Okay. So the question is the act of process of measuring something rather. So what's your answer for this number 1? It's in motivation. What is the answer for number 1?
It is measurement, Miss.
Okay, very good. How about number 2?
Structure.
Okay, very good. You study well. How about number 3?
Flow, teacher.
Okay, very good. For number 5, what is your answer?
Language.
Okay. Next slide. No. So given that activity, what do you think is our discussion this morning? Yes, it is all about prose versus poetry. So, who among you here knows what is prose and what is poetry?
Me, Miss.
Yes, Priya?
Poetry is the work of literature that uses sounds and rhythms of a language to evoke deeper significance to the literal meanings of the words. And while prose is, it is the ordinary language people use in speaking or writing. Sorry.
Okay, very good. Next slide, please. So later on, I will give you an activity wherein you determine whether it is a prose or a poetry. So this morning, I will be discussing on what is prose and poetry. So in literature, there are two major forms, which are the prose and poetry. So when we say prose, it is a straightforward form of literature wherein the author expresses his thoughts and feelings in a lucid way. While poetry is that a form of literature in which the poet uses a unique style and rhythm. For instance, to the bottom line here is that prose refers to a form of literature having ordinary language in sentence structure that arrange into paragraph, while poetry is the form of literature which is static. When we say static, it is expresses something special in an artistic way. So that's the difference between the two. Did you understand, class?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Before we start the activity, let's have do this say some exercise because others are felt sleepy, right? So kindly open your
Yes,
camera.
Miss.
Okay, kindly open your camera and follow me. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, for your activity, I want you to get a one-fourth sheet of paper and answer the following. You determine whether it is a true or false. I will give you 5 minutes to answer this activity. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, time is up. So what is your answer for number one?
False teacher.
Okay, very good. It is false. How about number two?
False, Miss.
Okay, very good. For number three, what is your answer?
Through.
True, Miss.
How about number four?
True.
True.
And for number five?
True teacher.
Okay, very good.
False, Miss.
Okay, very good. You study well. Excellent. Okay, class. May I know if you struggled with our quiz so I can discuss it back to you in order for you to understand well. Okay?
Okay, Miss.
Okay. For your last activity for today, prepare one half sheet of paper and answer this activity in 10 minutes. Okay, time start
Okay,
now.
Miss.
Okay, class. What is your answer for number 1?
Prose, Miss.
Okay, for number 2, it is written in complete sentences and follows grammatical rules. So what do you think is the
Prose,
answer?
prose again, Miss.
Very good. For number 3, it is the person that writes a poem. What do you think is the answer?
Speaker.
Speaker.
Very good. For number 4, it is the paragraphs in a poem called what?
Stanza.
Okay, very good. And lastly, what is your answer for this one? It is often divided into chapters.
Prose, Miss.
Okay. Class, so this time I am preparing with your assignment. Um, Next slide, please. Are you still with me, class?
Yes, teacher. Yes, Miss.
For your assignment, kindly read the poem entitled The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. What you do is that after reading the poem, list at least 10 unfamiliar words throughout the poem and write it in a one whole sheet of paper. So no questions for the assignment?
Kano sa
Any
ipas, Miss?
questions? Um, Tomorrow, the same time.
Okay, Miss.
So
Okay, Miss.
any
Noted.
clarification?
Nothing, Miss.
Okay. So, okay. That would be all for today, class. Thank you for listening. Goodbye, class.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
Miss.
Goodbye,
Miss.
Miss.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.